Hi, I'm Bethany from Best Coast, and you are watching AMBY.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia from AMBY, and I'd like to welcome you to our interview with Bethany from Best Coast. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to have a chat.
Sure.
Yeah, so you are now on the Summers Forever 2 tour. How is it treating you so far?
It's been really great. I feel like all of the shows are like pretty awesome, and it's like we keep having shows where we're like, that was the best show, and then the next night it's like, no wait, that was the best show. So it's been really fun. You know, being on tour with Waves is great, and then Cherry Glazer, who's playing First of Three, they're really, really great, and like crowds have been reacting really well to them, so it's just been all around very fun.
I've noticed how in a lot of your tweets and on your Instagram you like to use emojis quite often.
I do, yes.
So if you were to describe the tour using a couple of emojis, which stick out to you?
I'm pretty big on the I really like the rose emoji, just because I feel like the rose emoji is always like it's like a nice way to, you know, to kind of like end something. I also really like the like star emojis, or like anything that looks like it could be like sparkly.
Yeah.
And then I like the eye roll emoji a lot. I think that one is like a really good addition, because I know that's a newer one. But when they made that, and then there's a middle finger emoji that I like a lot too.
I don't have a middle finger emoji on
Have
mine.
you updated do you have an iPhone?
I'm on Android, so it's probably why.
Yeah.
Damn Android.
Yeah, you got it. You're going to have to switch just for those.
Just for the middle
finger.
finger. I saw last night you were living life in the fast lane, watching the pay-per-view, WWE pay-per-view. I saw that triple threat match, and it was just crazy. Are you a wrestling fan? Did you catch the whole pay-per-view?
I am like... Not real. I'm kind of a wrestling fan by proxy. It's just like Nathan from Waves watches wrestling all the time, and we date and we live together. So it's like there's wrestling on basically all the time at my house, so I see it. I did like wrestling a lot as a kid because my family, my dad's brothers, were really into it, and Bob is a huge wrestling fan too. So it's kind of like a thing that's like always around me in a way. But yeah, Nathan, we had a day off here last night, and Nathan was watching it, and it was just funny because he like was so excited, and then he fell asleep. And so I thought that was just like it was like a bad like dad/mom joke to be like, life in the fast lane because you're sleeping during this. I really wanted Dean Ambrose to win, because I really like Dean Ambrose. I love that his like thing is that he's like a lunatic.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny. I think he's pretty funny. But Roman Reigns is pretty good too, and he's quite a beautiful looking man for sure.
Have to agree on that one. And you also paid a little tribute to The Undertaker and Ultimate Warrior on this tour poster. I saw it's hanging up right now in the background. Was that just because the mutual love of wrestling seeping in there?
Yeah, I mean, we're all fans. You know, like everybody's got a thing with wrestling on this tour. Like we all either are fans or we watch it because it's like around, or someone in our family likes it. But yeah, when we were kind of trying to come up with an idea for the tour poster and the tour like announcement, and then for the backdrop, I kind of was like, well, what if we did like a wrestling thing? And then The Undertaker he was always my favorite, and he actually came to my elementary school to talk about like not doing drugs.
Really?
It was like he was like a part of I don't know if you have this program here. So it was like a program and where they go to schools and like talk to kids about like not doing drugs, and he was the spokesman, which is really funny because I'm sure that Undertaker like was probably not sober at that current time, because I was like in the you know, not the 90s, like the late 90s. So but yeah, I like The Undertaker a lot. He's definitely my favorite. And I used to joke that when I was a kid that The Undertaker was my dad. I don't know why, but that was just a joke. And so now, like, when we were figuring out, like, who should be who on the poster, I was like, I want to be Undertaker. Plus, you get to wear the, like, sick hat.
Yeah.
I feel like he's kind of, like, my vibe. He's, like, dead and, like, angry, and that's kind of how I feel sometimes.
I love that explanation.
Yeah, I'm, like, dead and angry.
Just going back to the lineup for a second, you mentioned obviously Waves is on tour with you right now. This is the second Summers Forever tour you're doing together. When you think back to the first time you met those boys, what comes to mind?
Well, I've known Nathan for, over 10 years. And when I first met him, he wasn't like, Waves didn't exist yet because I've known him since we were both like 18. And so, but I remember like the guys that are in the band now, I think this is honestly Waves' like strongest lineup, because I've seen Nathan play with like multiple different people, and I think that right now he has like the strongest lineup, and they're just fun. Like they're fun guys, and we've all, Best Coast and Waves, like we've all grown up a lot. So it's like I think we all used to be a lot. The first time we did Summers Forever tour, it was like there was a lot of drinking, like a lot of it. And this tour, there's like not. It's like a bit of drinking. Everybody's like older now. We like get tired more quickly, and everybody like kind of just wants to like go drink on their bus and then just like fall asleep. So yeah, I think we're all just like a bit more like mature. Whereas the last time we did this tour, it was like kind of like a wild and crazy excursion, but like in a good way. So
I really like the photo you posted too of you just sitting there with all your Garfield collection.
Oh yeah.
Do you still collect Garfield things? I saw you hopped on stage and somehow found that massive Garfield head.
That was actually so funny because when we were playing in Philly, and there was a girl and she was in the front row, and she was wearing a Garfield costume, like full on it was like like what a mascot wears, but it was Garfield. And I saw it and was like, that's so cool. And then I was like, okay, because I've been doing this thing during Boyfriend in the set where I'll like take the mic off the stand and kind of just like walk around, and depending on how close we are to the audience, sometimes I'll like jump down, and but this one was like a huge, if I had jumped, I would have probably hurt myself. So I just walked over to her and said, like, can I borrow that for the for Boyfriend? And I like just like sang to it and then put it on my head, and it was just fun. But no, I've always liked Garfield. I have a cat that is pretty similar to Garfield. He's a big fat tabby. He's very lazy. And so I think that, yeah, I just have always really liked Garfield stuff. Sadly, I don't have a lot of that Garfield stuff from that picture, because that picture was like over 5 years ago, probably like 7 years ago, maybe. I don't even know at this point. It's like every day is a thing where I'm like, what day is it? But yeah, I do love Garfield stuff, and fans will give me a lot of Garfield like trinkets all over when I'm touring, so it's nice to collect.
And you're now touring in support of California Nights, your third record. Mm-hmm. And when you listen to the album, it really does seem like you have a bit of a love-hate relationship. Can you expand on that a little bit?
I mean, I it's not necessarily like a love-hate relationship. It's just that, I've lived there my entire life, and I think that for me, it may be more of a love-hate of constantly being asked about California and just like everything I do being like, so you're from California, right? And it's like, yes. And like, I know that's my fault because I called the band Best Coast, and I always have at least like one or two songs on a record that talk about California. But it is a very like inspiring, amazing place. However, on this record, I kind of wanted to explore a bit more of the like
grittier side
idea that like California is like a really like this place that people sort of see as being very like beautiful and perfect and like sunny and palm trees, and that's all real, but it's also kind of, a bit darker. There's a lot of like poverty, there's a lot of crime, insane amounts of pollution, and so I think that was something that I kind of wanted to like focus in a little bit more. And I also think that's sort of like the way Best Coast is we write very like sunny, poppy, upbeat melodies, but then lyrically it's a little bit like darker and talks a bit more about like, life is hard and confusing, but we trick people with these like melodies and they're like, this song makes me feel so happy. And I'm always thinking like, did you really listen to the lyrics? Because it's a bit existential and weird, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think if you are born and raised somewhere, you always kind of have that thing with it where you're like, I love you, but you're really driving me crazy.
I'm a little sick of you
fortunately
now.
for me, I get to travel a lot, so I'm always really excited when I get to go home, and then I have like a better appreciation for it because I get like a month away from it, basically, like 6 months out of the year. So.
I love this tweet you recently shared, which was the absolute worst human trait is being a phony. What conjured that up for you?
There were some people that I ran into at a show who are like just people that I know, and just like totally those kind of people that just like talk the most trash and then to your face are just like really nice. And I don't know, I just don't like when people are phony. I feel like if you dislike something, you should just dislike it and just kind of like be real. That's the way I've always really felt about it. But I mean, and also being in the music industry, you meet a lot of kind of like phony people. It's just not a thing that I like. But yeah, I'm not going to say who it was about just because I'm not going to like call the people out.
Yeah.
But it was just an annoying thing. And I was like in bed watching Seinfeld and thinking about how no one in Seinfeld is very phony. They're all very straightforward.
Yes.
So I was like, I wish more people were like Seinfeld.
That's a great quote. It feels like you're always sending out these incredible words of wisdom to your fans. So just for the last question, anything you want to say to your fans just as a little parting message?
I mean, I feel like lately I've been doing a lot of, I've been talking a lot about like, kind of just like people have been asking me a lot about how outspoken I am about, like women's issues, and then also just kind of like being unapologetic about being myself. And so that's something that I always like to just tell people and fans when I meet them is like, I meet people that say, I'm struggling with just feeling awkward right now, or I want to get involved in music, but I've been hearing all these stories lately about how there's all this like weird sexist shit going on. And so my thing right now is it's just like, just be yourself, stand up for yourself. If something makes you feel uncomfortable, whether it's in the workplace or just out on the street, or, and if anybody is making you feel uncomfortable, just be like yourself, stand up for yourself, and don't ever feel the need to like apologize for just being who you are. So that's what I have to say to you guys.
Fantastic parting words. Thank you so much for your time
Thank
today.
you.
It's my pleasure. And
Thanks.
remember, to everyone viewing, you can visit us at amusicblogya.com for all exclusive interviews, features, videos, and so much more with your favorite bands. We'll see you next time.
Bye.